other parts of the world right now. Now gives us life and brings us salvation. That's all gifts of life. Thank you that in you we can rejoice. We pray as we handle your word today, you make us that Lord find cross-centered death, maybe or life. Thank you. We're going to sing Christ Arose. We'll sing another hymn, but now, go brave day. Lord, in the great delay, Jesus, my Savior, waiting the coming day. Jesus, my Lord, from the grave he arose with a mighty triumph on his throne. He arose out from the dark domain, and he lives forever in his saints to reign. He arose, hallelujah, Christ arose. Faintly they watch his grave, Jesus, my Savior. Faintly they seal the grave, Jesus, my Lord. Up from the grave he arose, with a mighty triumph on his throne. He arose up from the dark throne, and he reigns forever in the saints to reign. He arose, hallelujah, Christ arose. Death cannot keep his prey, Jesus, my Savior. He tore the bars away, Jesus, my Lord. From the grave he arose, with a mighty triumph of his throne. He arose and risen from the dark throne, and he reigns forever in the saints to reign. He arose, hallelujah, Christ arose. 108, he lives, Christ day. I serve a risen Savior, he's in the world today. I know that he is living, whatever men may say. I see his hand of mercy, I hear his voice of cheer, and just the time I need him, his glory raised him. He lives, Time of his appearing will come at last. He lives, Christ Jesus lives today. He walks with me and talks with me, a long life star away. He lives, salvation to impart. You ask me how I know he lives. He lives within my heart. Rejoice, rejoice, O Christian, lift up your voice and sing. Eternal hallelujah to Jesus Christ the King, the hope of all who seek Him, the help of all who find. None other is so loving, so good and kind. He lives, Christ Jesus lives today. He walks with me and talks with me, a long life star away. He lives, salvation to impart. You ask me how I know he lives. He lives within my heart. Right, we now continue Bible study and we are looking at 2 Timothy chapter 4. 2 Timothy chapter 4. And the last verses will be looking at 9 to 22. Maybe we can read about 3 or 4 verses each. We'll be beginning with Semakula and reading this direction. Just making sure that 8. So you can read.
Second Timothy chapter 4, 9 to 20. Do your best to come to me quickly, Demas, because he loved this world, deserted me, and has gone to the Crescens has gone to Galatia, and Titus Galatia. Only Luke, let Mark, bring him with you, because he is helpful in my ministry.
Thus I have said, when you come, walk that purpose for us. Also, the above all apartments. Alexander, Lord will repay him. Be aware of him himself for strongly opposed message. As defense, one came to all desire. It not
God stood at my side. That through message made. God will rescue. Along with him. Us like
Do your best to come to me quickly. Demas, because he loved this world, has deserted me, gone to the Crescent has gone to Galatia.
Sing songs. You think but nothing compares. There's no okay. Kind of no one. Hymn 216, Christ arose and sing. Oh, in the grave he lay, Jesus my Savior, waiting the coming day. Jesus my Lord, out from the grave he arose with a mighty triumph for his throne. He arose, a victor from the dark domain, and he reigned forever with his saints to reign. He arose, hallelujah, Christ arose. They watch his death, Jesus my Savior. Vainly they still that day, Jesus my Lord. From the grave he arose with a mighty triumph on his throne. He arose and risen from the dark domain, and he reigns forever in his saints to reign. He arose, 120. Christ Jesus. A. I serve a risen Savior, He's in the world today. I know that He is leading, whatever men may say. I see His hand of mercy, I hear His voice near, and just the time I need Him is always near. He lives, Christ Jesus lives today. He walks with me and talks with me, alone life's narrow way. He lives, salvation to impart. You ask me how I know He lives. He lives within my heart. He knows the world around me. I see His loving hand. And though my heart grows weary, I never will despair. I know that He is leading through all the stormy paths. The day of His appearing will come at last. He lives, Christ Jesus lives today. He walks with me and talks with me along life's narrow way. He lives, salvation to impart. You ask me how I know He lives. He lives within my heart. Rejoice, rejoice, O Christian, lift up your voice and sing. Eternal hallelujah to Jesus Christ the King, the hope of all who seek Him, the help of all who find. None other is so loving, so good and kind. He lives, Christ Jesus lives today. He walks with me and talks with me along life's narrow way. He lives, salvation to impart. You ask me how I know He lives. He lives within my heart. Right? We're ready to read 2 Timothy chapter 4. We'll be reading from verse 9 to the end. Verse 9, verse 20. Therefore, you can begin by reading 2 verses, each verse, so that we can hear God's word.
2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 9 to 22. Do your best to come to me quickly, Demas, because he loved this world, deserted me, and has gone to Thessalonica. Crescens has gone to Galatia, and Titus to Matia.
Luke alone is with me. Mark and bring him. Yes, I have sent.
Drop the table.
Under the metal workout, God will
Lord's to all the Gentiles. Also, I was
will rescue me from every evil. Erastus stayed.
Okay. Thanks, Peter. So if we get to our preamble and see what Paul is trying to do through these relational realities, we are saying that Paul aims at extrapolating Timothy, the relational context, realities of they are always experienced, at least in principle. So in the closing verses of this letter, Paul brings his young associate, the apprentice Timothy, to speed on the spiritual condition, the activities and whereabouts of certain men and women factor in his ministry. So in this text, we get to hear the apostle's heart as shaped by the grace of God under these inevitable realities. Among such realities, we have the examples of those who hindered or helped Paul's gospel effort, and there is a way Paul felt about them. He expresses these feelings in a way which emphatically reminds us that even today, relationships are the context, content, and the cause for ministry. Relationships assess our ministry. Relationships assess our ministry motivation. They evaluate our ministry priorities. They determine our ministry structure or shape. Relationships formulate our interpersonal dynamic. Relationships give ministry trust and movement. We're not surprised that Paul is talking about relationships. Now, think about a relationship. It's good to explain it. Since a relationship can be explained by how you feel about someone when you think about him or her, ministry is synonymous with relationship. Knowing people and being known by them becomes the interpersonal dynamic which serves as our gateway to receiving ministry. The feelings left by any thoughts about someone are the shapers of ministry to them. They are the thrust of ministry by them or ministry alongside them in a given network to serve with people. So the feelings we have about people when we think about them give us the right wording in praying for them, give shape to our attitude and affection towards them, substantially everything we can call ministry. So we are really saying that relationships are inseparable from. They are the context, that's the setting. Saying they are the content because the people who serve and are served are relationships. They are also the cause for ministry. They are the ones Christ died for. Seek, serve. So now, as Paul writes this, he faces the axe neck that will soon cut off his head. So he urges Timothy to join him from as soon as he could, because the apostle did not expect to live much longer, so that earlier 6 life is already poured out. And knowing that his life is about to end, there are people in his mind, there are feelings about them, and thus urgent instruction to Timothy regarding them. Paul is like an old coach turning over a young coach who wants the young coach to know where everybody plays so he can step in with trauma and difficulty. Some of the people he mentions here, for example, Timothy, he wants them to come to be with him in the last days for comfort, to assist him in his ministry as he continues. Yeah, wants them to hear his final words. Some of those whom he mentions, like Priscilla, Aquila, the family of Onesiphorus, he just wants to greet, share his love and his concern because they are his friends. That relationship. Some of them still, like Crescens, Titus, Tychicus, Erastus, and Trophimus, he sent to serve in strategic places to keep the work going. Yet some of the others he mentions, like Eubulus, Pudens, Linus, Claudia, are sending greetings to Timothy as believers in the Roman Church. Then some of them, like Demas, Alexander, and the whole group of anonymous cowards, mentions because of the grief they through desertion of ministry, that goes for Demas, through opposition to the gospel, that goes for Alexander, and through lack of courage or boldness to publicly support. That's the group come to his support. Now, the gospel message, the organizing principle for Paul's relationships, his network, not his physical safety, not his status. We know that he was the main representative of the saint at that time, not his personal feelings about individuals or even his comfort. Paul's feelings about anyone at this time is about whether the message is advancing. No wonder against the desertion and odds of his network, Paul bursts out in praise to the Lord, who stood at my side, he says, and gave me strength so that through the message, through me, the message might be fully proclaimed to Gentiles. So, we're looking really at the relationships, and that preamble points us not just to the names of people or to the list of them or to each one individually, but collectively. These are the people who surrounded Paul. It's good to know each one of them. We don't have much time, but the good thing, this Bible study that we are holding will be continued next Sunday. So we have part 1 and part 2. We'll still be looking at the same passage, and wherever we stop, then we'll pick. Try to draw principles as Gambo points us there. Let's see how far we go in knowing some of the people. So, Paul's imprisonment in Mamertine prison, that's a bleak building still standing in Rome, which was built 100 years before Paul's imprisonment, political enemies of Rome. So we can read from elsewhere, not the Bible, know the prison, know when it was built, know where he was arrested. That building lasted until he was beheaded under Nero outside Rome's Ocean Gate, a place called Three Fountains. Three Fountains is there. And you may just want to know where did they get the name Three Fountains. Tradition has it, the story is told, that when Paul's head was cut off, it kind of danced in particular ways, 3 ways, that whole thing. But that's why they called it Three Fountains. But Paul was martyred in the aftermath of the great fires that swept Rome for AD, which Nero, some manner, tried to blame on Christians and Rome. We also know that from biblical history, because this history is not long ago. See, to know what is happening, places still stand. Historians wrote. According to some traditions, he was beheaded on the same day that was crucified upside down. That's tradition. We don't know that they died on the same day according to the Bible. Has it? Now, Paul was a Roman citizen. They crucified. Right, even hated badly. So, Paul urged Timothy to join him in Rome soon. Not expect to live much longer. Constitutional method of inflicting capital punishment on a Roman citizen was by the lictor's axe that was shaped in front like a sword. The criminal was tied to a stake, cruelly scourged with the rods, and then beheaded. Axe just cut off his head. Now we want to ask a question: do you think Timothy ever made it? Fine or not? Why do you think? Get to me quickly, get to me before winter. Edit. About that. thought about the Timothy? The answer to this is really, I think. There were a number of plans for when he was writing to the Romans before he got there. He said he wanted to go through Rome to Spain. So we also don't know. Maybe to look stops at Paul in his first imprisonment. So this one, you can say biblically we don't know about it. Get to Demas, Paul's fellow worker, who was not willing to pay the price of hardship and suffering that Paul was paying. So he had succumbed to the allurements of the world in what Paul termed as departing. So, in what specific ways do you think Demas's finality affected Paul? This is a relationship, key relationship, because Demas served with Paul. Yeah, so now he departed. I want to describe that. He doesn't go in details to tell us how he felt parting of Demas, but we
After
mentioned the critical power.
yeah, the critical power. This is the
Uh, what is hard? Now he leaves him.
Have Demas serving, because Demas was a faithful servant. We know when Paul sent greetings coming from him. Not only had he invested in Demas, he had also watched Demas. He knew Demas's potential, so he had looking ahead to Demas. And we can also ask a follow-up question, because Demas is key. The relational realities of Paul. And ask a further question. When Paul says he loved the world, does he, explain that in terms of backslide, remain a Christian? How did he, what is contained in Paul's word, parted, loved the world? How would you describe the spiritual condition of Demas? Christ?
Christ.
You think this is total backsliding?
I think questions that can put it this way: when they must look the love of Christ and the love.
Well, it's also good to know that people who backslide, many of them have not outright God. So, we need to understand the situation as it was. Lack of courage. Your own leader is going to be beheaded. You see the difficulty, and so you have to love the Lord more, or your leader is going and to stay and stay up. So there is a combination of many factors that can also help us think that if Demas may not have restored him, simply loved him, not enough to keep. It's a combination of a lot of things, elements of the world, because the way Paul puts it, that he loved the world. That may be one way of saying, loved the Lord less and the world too. He loved the Lord because you get to see who backslide. They have no problem. Love him enough. Love the world less. The world takes over. But also, you can take Paul literally. What he said, he loved the world. There were a few beautiful women, discourse, a few things. He just thought, I think life is here. But it must have had relationships. Paul must have had. Well, that guy, it affected Paul. Christians don't know much about him, but evidently was a very capable man because Paul sent him to Galatia. Now, what tells us, even though we don't know him, what tells us that he must have been competent? Because he was sent to Galatia. Now you need to see Galatia and then know Paul can send there. Okay? Galatia. When you know the church in Galatia, and Paul sends this man, we simply can conclude and speculate he must have been an okay man. So, really that's the whole thing. But the question is there to imagine about the challenge in Galatian church. Do you know anything about the Galatian church that would tell you about Paul's choice to send Christians there?
Was which two, because they had started well, knowing Christ and
Placing justification by faith works and higher influence Judaism were failing to from it. So there may have been a few other problems, but their problems were mainly doctrine. That's what tells us that Christians must have been. Now, tradition says that he went north from Rome, Gaul, which is France, founded churches and became Chalcedon. That's what tradition. So this history is actually, find some. Let's get to Titus, and we don't have much to say about Titus since we're going to see Titus soon. But Titus appears 13 times in the New Testament and has a letter written to him. It was written between first and second Timothy. Now we just want to get to Titus in order to know. Read verse 5 of chapter 1 so that we can kind of assess. We are trying to see the people that are around Paul, relationships. So let's use verse 5 of Titus 1 to clearly understand this man. See how that shows that this man seemed to be able to flourish in the area of a new challenge. Somebody read it for us, verse 5.
Reason I left you in Crete, you straightened out what would left and appoint elders in every town as I.
So you can tell, left you there, do this, and what Paul probably is not saying, that I'm convinced you would do it. I was convinced you can handle. So just want to ask one question. What value would this have been to Paul's ministry as an itinerary preacher? A preacher going from place to place to place. But he needed people like Titus. Just think of the value. I need to arrange church here to put elders in place, deacons, give church structure, and give ministry its shape. Have such people. So just try to imagine. Let me hear your words as we imagine how important it was for a man who was from one to the other to have on his team. And
One assurance. One that
it's very key because when you read Paul's letters to the churches, he had a relationship. If you transfer Paul's concern for those churches, the work that Titus had starts to get the value. Because Paul wanted churches to be safe from false doctrine, led well, churches to be on a mission. So to have a man who arranged the church and organized a local church until it has ministry that thrusts evangelism, that is not something.
It reminds me of the things that you have heard from many. Need this. Idea.
Yeah, Titus. So we look forward to Titus, I think about 2 weeks. Titus. Here we come to Luke. These are Paul's relationships, to look at each one. In one sack. Here is Luke, only spoken of other times in the once in Colossians 4. He is called beloved physician. John 20 is referred to as a worker of. And although only 3 passages name this man, the dominant character in the New Testament, having written about 50 chapters of. That's the entire Luke, goes according to Luke, entire Acts. As Paul's fellow worker, beloved physician, a great historian, we know that. What do you think this man meant? Try to imagine. He was always with Paul. He's in the we set out. When you read we in Luke, then we set out from Troas. He's among the we. Then we arrived in Rome. Then he's among the we. Always with Paul. Just try to much Luke and giving account.
Otherwise,
Paul was needed.
that he was thrown in the flesh. We don't know. Took. Also, not that there is a way he coded. Yes. So, can't imagine.
And then we get to another one like him. We have the gospel according to Luke, the gospel according to Mark. None of these were disciples of Jesus. That's the ministry. Mark was also called John. John was in Jerusalem. Acts 13:13 says Paul, Barnabas, and Mark started on a difficult path, and he abandoned them. Tough. John Mark left. It was too much for him. Paul had little stomach for cowardly men who were uncommitted. When we read Acts 15, verse 36 to 41, there we find a very, very sharp disagreement that we are supposed to discuss final man in Mark. So we want to compare, so turn to 36 to 41. We want to compare it with that last portion of 2 Timothy 4:11, where Paul says, bring Mark with you, for he is very useful and ministry. So Abigail, you are ready to read for us Acts 15.
Sometime took
They had such a sharp disagreement. Paul said, we will not take him. Barnabas said, we should. Paul said, we will not. And that's 7 years ago, he parted with us. Later, Paul says, up with is useful. Now, first thing we can talk about here, and our time is going. I want to ask, both Barnabas and Paul have good reason either not taking Mark or to say who was right, who was wrong. At that time, not later in Timothy. That time Paul was right. They want to invest in people.
Someone who that wasn't sure whether his stand this time be right. So he never wanted, if I wanted to risk again.
So in the sense Paul was right.
I think now if Barnabas was his
Yeah, that's assessing it at the end.
at the end.
The-
So Barnabas was an encouragement. Because maybe he would.
No,
Demas.
they were also relatives.
Eh,
So we don't know whether he took him because John Mark was
Yeah.
Barnabas' cousin. One thing that tells us that maybe it's not because he was relatives, is that actually Barnabas had also taken Paul. When nobody would stand with Paul, Barnabas is done. Tell them, receive him. He's okay. He's no longer persecuting the church, this man. That was Barnabas. We don't think it was just a cousin issue.
Wasn't that? Because then you see the character of that time. Character of that. Later on, we see Mark had to put why would Mark
Also, when he went,
There's a key thing. That's really true. But I don't think that as John Mark watched Barnabas disagree, must have said, that disagreement must have been a turning point. John Mark. Something said, do you see that? You see what you these men have parted company over you. You're now going to him. Those are relationships. Those are realities of. But let's say something about Mark, and then we'll jump to one more person before we go to the next Sunday to look at a few other people. Now, a bit of Mark's usefulness to Paul was his high acquaintance with Rome. Mark knew Rome. Hey, he was like a city pawn. He always went to Rome, so he knew Rome and his knowledge of the Roman church. He knew Rome perhaps better than Paul, much better than Paul. And it was the Romans who requested Mark, please write for us about Jesus. We want to know Jesus. So the gospel according to Mark was prompted by the Roman church. He requested him, can you write was, let us know Jesus. Although Paul could rejoice in the story, one in the life of Mark, don't you think Paul had learned something? At this point, when he says bring Mark, Paul has learned this. Paul was perfect. But he now looks back, he says, this is the guy I threw in the. He was saying, this man actually served with Peter as well. 1 Peter 5:13 tells us that he was with Peter. For him, his gospel, since he did not walk with Jesus, the gospel was. When you read the gospel according to Mark, you see the suffering servant as just as Luke, gospel from Paul. Okay, so I wanted us to jump to one more man so that we can conclude the Bible study. And the man is Alexander because he's key. Many of them are encouragers. James and Alexander are not. That's why I ran to Alexander. Then the others next Sunday. Alexander, the faithless enemy of Paul and the opposer of the gospel message. That's him. Don't need to assume that this Alexander is the same as the one in the First Timothy 1:20. Many people think, others think not, have some reason known. And then another Alexander mentioned in Acts 19. We also don't know whether that's the one talked about. So we have three names of Alexander, and we are not sure we can connect them. This one is introduced as the metal worker or the coppersmith. Now, this is Alexander, who represented everything opposite God. We want to ask us to watch out this bad guy. Ephesus, where Timothy served, or in Rome, once Timothy arrived. What do you think? Where was Alexander? Paul says, watch out. We know Timothy is serving in Ephesus. So Alexander may be in Ephesus where Timothy is. I also know Paul is inviting Timothy to Rome, and he could caution him when he come to Rome. Find this man has done me great. Where do you think Alexander? Serving?
Warning him.
Yes, so it may be Ephesus when you think about Acts 9. Ephesus, where he spent years. The word he used for a message, that's not in an instance. Paul went to Rome as a prisoner. Posing of the message would have been in dialogue and debates daily over the 3 years. Now then, if he's the Alexander of Ephesus, maybe a metal worker who was involved in manufacturing metal goods. Paul preached the gospel. Many people were buying gods of clay, of iron, buying them, they spoke down, and there was the riot in Ephesus. He may be the one, but we don't know. This was just to kind of to get us thinking where he may be. But this Alexander presented everything opposite to them. Paul said of him, the Lord will repay him. Don't have time to read those scriptures where God will avenge himself, but you could say about the Lord will repay him according to his deeds. Paul is still writing to Timothy. Why is this? And so, what did you do, Paul, man? He was. Don't try to retaliate. Don't hit back. Let the Lord pay him. Any other reason you would put? First of all, careful. All right, I would like us to conclude by turning to next page where have those last ones used. Fibulus, So let's come to a conclusion looking at next Sunday. But that is a network of Christ-centered relationship that Paul perceived in. Our life is made up of these kinds of people. And like Paul, the cause of our networks is often below the value of our. In other words, we love people because we eat with them, we laugh with them, just enjoy their company. But Paul's cause was higher. His relationships were strategic and defined by the advancement of the gospel or by the hindrance of it. So Paul had a network or team, people who were his life, on whom he depended, people on whom he delegated responsibility, people in whom he trusted, who were faithful and others were unfaithful. Some were friends, others were enemies, others were old friends, others were new friends. He had consistent people, he had inconsistent people, he had people who were always ready to volunteer, he had people who were never ready to volunteer. All part of his life forming the reality. There's a lot we learn is. One thing we can learn today that our identity defines our relationship. Think or knew us, and it gave him a grounding from which to respond to Demas, respond to Mark, respond to Alexander, respond to everybody. Was him first. Think that identity is key. Paul maintained a proper self-identity because Christ anchored, and learn from him. Our identity in Christ is what equips us for relationships, which are the context was for ministry. We have questions we will ask following up the identity, but it's very, very key. Think about identity. Identity, what you look to find you, and it will shape your relationships. When we say that people have inferiority complex, superiority complex, that's an identity issue. They don't assess themselves well. You need an identity for the purpose of ultimate meaning, significance, fulfillment, love, purpose, and belonging. Also functions like a scorecard to see how you are doing. So your identity is like your worldview. It shapes all your choices. The who you think you are guides you to the friends, guides you to the way you will dress, everything you do. That means you live out your identity, whether you intend or not. What is what we see. So for Paul, his identity in Christ told him everything. Who he is, who he used to be, what his purpose in life was, what he was becoming, what his true treasure was, what his Lord requires of him, where he was going. He responded to suffering because that future glory. He was so thankful because he really knew God's mercy and grace because of his blasphemy, his sin. So his identity really changed everything. If you found yourself being the one to relate to Demas, to Timothy, Mark, Alexander, Titus, to those who do not stand with you, some of them you would be fighting, others you would be parting company, never saying, bring Mark with you. So you would never come back to them. You would not even, some of them you. Paul's response in his relationship was built. I think if there's anything that this passage teaches us, as Christians, we are locked in combat, culture war that has radically different ideas about what will pass on his own. In an identity hungry culture. Who am I? I want to be what I want to be. I am who I am. Let people be themselves. You hear those statements. Don't take them. I just want to be myself. Identity, sometimes a crisis. So we conclude saying relationships, context, content, assess ministration, wait ministration, structure and we formulate ministry personal dynamic, the mode of interaction. How do you see people? How do you relate with them? What's your attitude towards them? And relationship. Give trust or mood. By the time you kneel down to pray for anybody, by the time you set out to assist anybody to serve with you or to serve them or to uplift them, by the time you avoid somebody or you want somebody to watch out, you are warned about, is about them. So relationships are very, very important. Take note of that, and we'll follow it up next Sunday with the angle of grace to this. But keep your notes and keep studying them, even the areas we have not touched. This next. Let's pray together as we close. Father, thank you for teaching us through Paul and his relationships, showing us how he thought about each, how he felt about them, the fondness and affection, the avoidance of those who would hear the gospel message, and sold out to you. Not so much care about his physical life. His concerns were not so much his comfort. He was praising the Lord from prison. We pray that hope and that causes us, like Christ said, Father, forgive. Caused Jesus to pick that ear and put it back in him. That caused Jesus to answer kindly to the thieves he was crucified with. That caused Jesus not to hit back or to prove himself ways that would happen. Lord, we pray for that kind of gentleness. For we know even in Jesus, John 13, Jesus knowing where he had come from, knowing who he was, knowing where he was going, then washed his disciples. His identity allowed him to. So we pray for that kind of identity to serve all people, love them all, care for them, know ourselves, for we know others. Therefore, to work from these relational realities usefully. In Jesus'